episode of season 2.
Wow, it's the final episode of season 2. How's everybody feeling?
Wild. I'm Syd.
I'm Olivia.
Together we're Syd and Olivia and we talk some shit.
Welcome to Syd and Olivia Talk Shit, the podcast.
We are on YouTube. We are on Spotify. We are on anywhere you listen to podcasts.
We're a comedy duo. We're at Syd and Olivia on everything.
Can you tell we're burnt out? Today, for our final episode of season 2.
You know, we were thinking, God, what would be the most intimate thing we could share with you guys?
And at first we were like, nudity.
Yeah.
And then we realized this is a podcast and you can't listen to nudity.
No, I mean, not easily.
Not easily.
You'd have to really get creative.
And if you got too aroused, you might get into a car accident if you're driving.
Exactly.
And so we decided against that.
So we thought the next best thing would be to really sit down.
Yeah.
And ask each other questions from a weird box game we found on the internet.
We found a couple of them. A couple of them.
And these are games that are meant for
romantic couples.
Romantic couples that have been in long-term relationships.
Like couples that are like, we've been married for 25 years.
Yeah.
And we're having some issues. Let's play a box card game.
Let's reignite the spark. Let's dig deep. All we do is space out and watch TV.
And let's try to get our sex lives back on track.
Absolutely. So we thought, well, we better do that in front of you guys.
Yeah, very intimate.
Yeah. So we don't know what questions we've picked out, and we're just going to ask each other a bunch of questions back and forth, and that's what this episode's going to be, and I'm very excited because there's some really fucking ridiculous questions that don't apply to us.
Yeah, I don't really know where this episode is going to go.
No.
Like, I don't know really what's going to happen, but we're going to all find out together.
There's going to be some vulnerability, and there'll probably be some intimacy.
So the first card game we're going to be choosing from is called the open parentheses and then nothing and then closed parentheses and couples edition from the Skin Deep.
I don't know.
I
That's
don't really
too
know
confusing.
what that means.
That's too confusing of a title for me.
And it looks like the cards have at the top like a picture.
Icons?
Yeah, icons. One of them is a middle finger.
One of them is people fucking.
And one of them's an ear.
Gotta love it.
One of them's, they're all weird.
Do we know anything about this game going into it? Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Are you so excited?
You know, I'm not. I'm a little worried. I feel like you have something in store for me.
I definitely picked a couple cards that I was like, there's no answer to this question.
Great. Why don't you pick a question first?
Okay, I'll start. Okay, Syd. What do you think is the sexiest part of my body?
Oh, well, we're off to a soaring start. Now, here's the thing. I don't want to sexualize you. You're my friend. I've known you for 12 years. Your brain.
Thank you so much. Oh my God, what a sexy answer.
Okay, that's a really nice thing to say.
That's a really, really good answer.
I'm going to say your brain.
God, what a great answer. Okay, you go.
God, it's like I'm like a really naturally gifted husband.
Yeah,
like
you
I'm
are.
really naturally
You're an excellent
gifted
husband,
at being a
absolutely.
husband. Okay. How have I changed since we first met? What do you miss about me?
What do I miss about you? Okay, since we first met, you stopped wearing a back brace.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say that the answer should be that you miss my scoliosis brace.
I miss your scoliosis brace. I miss hugging you and feeling a scoliosis brace.
Yeah.
I would say besides that, you've also grown up like one would between the ages of 15 and 27.
Yeah, when I was 15, I wore a back brace for I was about to say a skeleton brace.
You wore a skeleton brace.
I wore a back brace for my scoliosis. It felt like an exoskeleton. When boys hugged me, they would shudder and run away.
Yeah, I would say I definitely missed that. It kind of, I don't know, maybe because I was just thought you were cool, but I was like, it's like a corset, but it wasn't.
No, it's like a skeleton brace.
So yeah, that's hands down the only way you've changed and the only thing I miss about you.
Yeah, it was ugly and it was bad and it was really difficult to wear clothes.
Okay, here's a question, Syd.
Hit me.
I have no idea how you're going to answer this one.
Sure.
Which of my insecurities drives you crazy?
Oh my God. I mean, it's an easy answer, right?
Yeah, probably.
If you know Olivia, well, I'm going to guess you don't. If you're watching this, I'm going to guess you don't know Olivia in person, because if you
why
do,
would you be watching?
Why are you watching this?
Yeah.
It's fucking weird. Unless you're like my dad.
In which case,
hey, Dad. Yeah. Olivia often talks about being fat.
Oh, yeah.
Or having a big square face.
Yeah.
Is a big thing she says a lot.
Yeah.
And when people compliment her, she'll be like, no, it's my big square face and I'm fat. And people will be like, oh, that's really not what I said. And I think it's mostly like irritating because it's not true. That's the reason it is irritating.
Well, that's very nice.
Because it's just not true.
You know, one day maybe I'll see it that way. And that would be hot for me. And I'd get all sexy in my brain.
Let me be nice for a second. Olivia gets a lot of compliments from people they are deserved. Of people being like, you're so beautiful, and like you like are so pretty and stuff. And it happens a lot. Like, I've seen it. It happens on the street. Like,
I block it out for some reason. I can't hear it. I'm like,
it happens literally all the time. I see it all the time.
I'm so troubled.
And the response is usually like, I'm fat, I have a big square face. And it's just like, oh my God, that's just not true. Like, literally, like walking down the street, people are just like, ah! Like, it literally happens all the time. I see it all the time. And the fact that she's always like, I'm fat, I have a square face, is I'm like, wait, how do you put those two things? I don't understand, like, how those things go together.
Yeah, I'm so excited to just literally go to the hospital one day and never come back.
Jesus Christ. Okay, this episode is off to a
beautiful start.
Okay,
you want to ask me a question?
I've been wondering this for a while.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, we've been in this friendship for 12 years now. Are you concerned that my body will change over time? That's a good question.
You know, I'm not concerned that your body will change shape. I could be maybe concerned that your body might change, like, health-wise, for example. Like, if, for example, I don't know how scoliosis works, but let's say, for example, your scoliosis got way worse.
I really love that my scoliosis has been heavily featured in this episode.
The beginning of this episode is themed your scoliosis. So, like, for example, if it got much worse, I would be like, oh no.
Yeah.
Because that would suck. But, you know, in terms of, like, if you got, like, very, very short legs all of a sudden or something like that, no, I'm not worried.
I would say if my scoliosis is going to get worse and my back is going to curl up, I would at least like to be like a beetle and be able to curl up into a ball and roll around places and then come out of my ball, and then I'm at my destination of choice.
Yeah.
And I can walk around on my 8 legs, or how many ever legs beetles have.
Okay, here's a really cutting question, Syd.
Sure.
Do you wish I made more money? Why?
Yeah, I wish you made more money, because then I'd be making more money as well. And I always wish that. Yep. As a person who is your business partner, who I'm making half of the cut and you are making half of the cut, I do wish you were making more money.
It would be nice.
Because then I could also have more money.
It would be really nice.
And I would love that.
Yeah.
Oh, this is an interesting question. And this one I really am curious.
Yeah.
What is a value we do not share in common?
I think that sometimes you value directness. And, like, if we're in a business meeting or something and someone is being, like, all over the place and being like, well, maybe we'd like to work with you, but, like, not really. You kind of are like, ugh, that's like, that rubs me the wrong way, because I value when people are like, this is how I feel. And for me, I think, well, that's a great trait to value. I just innately, like, you value it more. And I think I probably value, like, the weird inner workings of how somebody's probably thinking when they're talking in a way that they don't mean, because I'm like, oh, that's, like, interesting and important to, like, figure out how people do that. And I think you're a little bit more like, can someone just fucking say exactly what they mean, which is also completely fucking valid.
Yeah, I think about my gauge of honesty is sometimes different than other people's.
Yeah.
I've noticed people have pointed out to me that, like, for me, I can call something, like, dishonest, and people are like, it's not dishonest, it's just, like, being how people are.
Yeah.
Like, if, to me, it's, like, dishonest if somebody is being, like, pretending to be okay with something that they're not okay with.
Right.
Whereas most people are like, no, that's just like what people do.
Yeah, it's just like a social skill that, it's not like taking like, for example, if someone makes me food and it's bad, I'm going to be like, oh, thank you. It's great.
Right.
But on one hand, that isn't completely honest. But on the other hand, like, there's certain people who see that as like, you're a fucking liar.
Right.
And there's certain people who are like, oh no, that's just how. But like, there's definitely a spectrum from being honest to a fault to where you're like just hurting people for no reason to being like fake. Yeah. And I think neither of us are on the extreme ends, but I think that we have a difference, which is like good.
If someone made me like food and I didn't love it, I would be like, oh my God, thank you for making me this. Yeah. This is so nice of you.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't say like, this is the best thing I've ever eaten.
Right, exactly.
I would just be like, that was really kind.
But you're also not the type of person to go, this is bad.
No, I wouldn't say that. I would just be like, this was really kind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it comes from this weird place of being so scared of being lied to.
I think that's absolutely
and like
valid.
Being really afraid of like living in the Truman Show where everyone's like pretending to feel one way but actually feels another way. Because to me, I'm like, if I see someone like pretend to be friends with somebody and then I hear them talk shit about them afterward, I'm like, oh, I can't trust you.
No, ever. Yeah.
Which is so scary to me.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it really comes from that.
No, I think that's a very, like, that's a really important distinction to make.
Yeah,
like,
but I think I do it to a fault. Because I like expect people to be like robots and just be like, this is what I want and this is how I feel. And I'm like, great, thank you.
It's helpful sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a question. What do you think is the fundamental moral value that we share in common?
I don't know if it's the number one or just what's coming to mind right now.
Right.
But I think we both value time.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is like, I think we're both, even if we express it in different ways or like talk about it in different ways, I think we're the type of people where we would never want to waste someone's time. We don't want anyone to be doing something they don't want to be doing.
Yeah.
We don't want the other person to be doing something they don't want to be doing because time is valuable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
only have so much of it.
Yeah, I think looking at time as an important thing instead of a thing that's like, well, I don't value your time because I don't care.
Syd and I, we both move very fast. Like, we're both very fast people when we set out to do something. Like, it's more like, okay, we're gonna go space out for X amount of time, or just like talk about like garbage for X amount of time, and then we're supposed to write this thing. Let's start it. Let's finish it.
Yeah.
And like anytime we would ever film anything that was like a web series or anything, we'd always make sure we got people out in like the shortest fucking amount of time possible, because it's just rude to be like, oh, you probably have nothing to fucking do with your day. I totally get that.
Yeah, and I think just knowing that like the time needs like purpose of like, oh yeah, this time is for working and this time is to take care of yourself and this time is to do what you like. And
love this question from this game.
Sure.
Are you ready to have sex with only me for the rest of your life?
No.
Perfect. Your turn. Your turn. Your turn.
Okay, here's a good question. In what ways do my friends reflect who I am?
Okay. I think you have a lot of fun friends. You have a core group of friends from college or high school. And I think what that reflects is that you are really loyal to people and you stick it out with people.
Yeah, I have a lot of old friends.
Yeah, you're not like, oh, I have a new best friend all the time. Like, you have people who you've always been really close with and still are. And I think that says a lot about you. I think a lot of your friends are very fun, but also can get vulnerable and open up like so fucking easy.
Yeah.
And I think that you attract people who can both be really wild and fun, but also be really multidimensional and real. And I think that's good.
Yeah, it's also interesting because it's like we aren't really a part of a bigger friend group.
Yeah.
It's like there's us and we hang out a lot.
Yeah.
And then we kind of have also separate friend
groups. We have our own
groups.
friend groups, which I think is actually so healthy because...
Well, it's like when people date, like it's hard to date somebody and also be in a friend group with them.
And it's like, it happens, it's doable.
It's just harder.
And it's like, it's nice to... And there's so many friends we have in common, but we definitely have different like groups of friends we go go see, which is cool because, like, fuck yeah.
Yeah. And it's, like, not like we're not friends with each other.
No. I love all your friends. Like, I'm friends with so many of your friends.
It's literally just like you see them and you're like, oh my God, hey, how are you? But you might not get, like, lunch alone with them.
Exactly. There's people who I'm like, oh, I love them, but I don't hang out with them unless I'm also hanging out with Syd and them. You know what I mean? Which is,
very silly. Mm-hmm.
If you had to call me by another name, what would it be and why? Isn't that a weird fucking question?
Yeah, that's
I couldn't tell you why someone would ask that.
Like question. A nickname?
Yeah, anything you want. The question is has no descriptor.
Titty Goblin.
Okay, we absolutely love it. Next, you go next.
I don't know why.
I think that's valid.
I think Titty Goblin is a nice nickname because there's like something that's cute about it in the titty.
Yeah.
And then there's something that's cursed about it in the goblin.
And I think that's an important combination.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, well, I love that.
And I think that kind of describes your essence of like cute and cursed.
Yeah, and I have boobs.
And you have goblins.
And I am goblins. So it's kind of perfect.
I think the girliness from Titty and the cursedness
of goblin. I think that's actually a really good one.
Whoa. All right, quick one. What do I smell like?
Oh, well, in the past I would have answered Guilty by Gucci.
Yep.
But now I would honestly answer either, depending on the day, Clean or Cloud by Ariana Grande.
Yep.
That would be my answer.
You guys, Cloud by Ariana Grande.
It's the only perfume I use.
It's a really good scent.
It's so good.
And you can get it from the drugstore.
You get it anywhere. And you can get it from fucking Amazon anytime you go anywhere.
This podcast is literally not sponsored by Cloud by Ariana Grande.
No, but I am.
Why isn't it?
I know. Anywhere you go with that perfume on, people you've never met chase you down and fucking go. It smells
really good.
And they go, what are you wearing? You smell so good.
It smells so good, and it's way cheaper than most perfumes.
Oh, it's so cheap, and it smells great, and that's the answer.
Yep.
So, okay, I have a question. So the icon on this one is an eye with a tear falling from it.
Perfect start.
And the question this game has asked me to ask you is, how am I not the person you dreamt of being with when you were younger?
When I was younger, let's say 14 or 15, I wouldn't have dreamed of being with you because you were my friend and still are.
Right.
And I usually don't dream of having sex with my friends because they're my platonic friends.
I think that's absolutely valid.
Fair.
Yeah.
No, I think that first of all, when I was younger, I don't even feel like I ever dreamed of being with a partner because I always saw myself as undesirable.
Oh, perfect. I'm loving it for you.
I don't know. I feel really getting into it. When I was younger, when I was a kid, I mean, you
weren't a self-proclaimed sexy kid.
I wasn't a sexy kid. And not that any kid should be sexy.
No, but there's some kids out there who, like on the big TikTok, who go like, hey, look at me. I'm in charge of my big sexuality. I do a sexy dance for other young people that aren't overage, and I'm a child and they're children, and we do the sexy dance together. And it's upsetting for Olivia, but it's allowed because we're in a free country. I don't know.
But I think the thing you and I have in common is that, like, really throughout our whole childhoods, I don't think either of us thought we were, like, good looking.
God, no.
People.
We were unsexy kids, which I am happy about.
I actually think it made me a way more interesting person.
Yeah.
But, like, no one ever, like, I can think of so many times as a kid that people had said to me things to make me think, like, oh, I will never be a pretty person. And that's okay.
Yeah, no,
because
same.
then you develop your other character traits.
You've got all your other things.
And you would go, like, great, I'll lean on this more.
Absolutely. And that's better to do because you can always get hot or become less hot.
Yeah, one day when you're older and you trick people into thinking you're hot or something, like, you're fine.
You've got that part of your personality that is still good.
Right. But it's like, I think that I just never pictured myself with another person because I never honestly thought it would really happen.
That sucks. But at the same time,
did you picture being with?
I pictured myself with Jermaine Clement from Flight of the Conchords.
Right.
And not like in an exaggeration. Like, I really was like, I, a 12-year-old girl, will be with this 36-year-old man.
One day.
One day, I will be a young, something up-and-coming person, and I'll work with him. And even though he's married, God, he won't be able to resist me, the 12-year-old. I stalked him. I would show up at events he was rumored to be at to take pictures of him from across the street.
Oh boy.
I snuck into several after party. And by the way, it's not that creepy because I was 12 to 14 when I honestly 12 to 13, maybe 14.
Mm-hmm.
Very young. So I get a pass here. Because if I was 17, 18 doing this would be horrifying.
Hard.
But I was 12, which is kind of horrifying even more in a different way.
Yeah.
There's one picture of me and him, and he looks so uncomfortable. Like, he looks so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I am so happy, but I am just, like, the epitome of, like, this is an awkward fucking 12-year-old.
Yeah.
And it's the funniest thing in the world, and I had that picture framed forever.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I was just like, hands down, I'm gonna absolutely marry him, and if I don't marry him, I'm not gonna be with anyone.
It's like when Hailey Bieber
she manifested it.
She manifested it and she married Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
And I think that and like when the video came out of her being really little and meeting him for the first time, whatever, that made like every 12-year-old in the world go, it's possible. It could happen to me.
Yeah, and I didn't even know about that, but looking back, like, she did it.
But to be fair, Haley Baldwin was a Baldwin.
Yeah, she was famous.
She was part of a famous family and she ended up a model.
Yep, absolutely.
And so it's like, you know, there are ways to meet your celebrity crushes and marry them. But it requires usually
being rich
or famous, or a combination of both.
Yeah. So and I'm also, now I'm like an adult being like, oh no, that doesn't make any sense. But boy, oh boy, did I never think anything with more assuredness.
There is a thing of like young kids being like, that adult person will 100% be attracted to me, the child, when they know that I exist.
Exactly.
And if they are attracted to you, the child, then we've got bigger issues.
Exactly. It's bad. It's like realistically, one would hope if I had ever ended up in that situation, he would be like, ew, yucky, no.
Or just like, oh, that's very sweet of you to have a crush. Goodbye.
I have a wife and a child.
And my guess is that's what would happen.
That is what would happen. And now I'm an adult, so I understand that. And
because realistically, if there's a 12-year-old child out there being like, God, I love Olivia De Laurentiis, and they were to meet you.
And the worst part is, he was 22 years older than me, so it would be a 4-year-old right now.
Oh. So if a 4-year-old is watching TikTok for some reason.
Yeah, which they should.
I don't think they should.
Absolutely don't let your 4-year-olds watch TikTok.
If a 4-year-old is watching TikTok and sees like a TikTok and is like, that girl, I'm going to marry her, and then sneaks into your house. So a 4-year-old is like hiding behind your bed.
Absolutely.
Sees you with your boyfriend but goes, oh, fuck him.
Yeah.
Once she sees the body I have on me, the 4-year-old, she's going to lose it.
Yeah, she's going to leave her boyfriend. She's going to
leave her life. Yeah. And she's going to want to take care of me and love me.
And you know what I think is really good about that?
Sorry?
Having that crazy obsession when you're a child
gets it out of the way.
It gets it out of the way, and it gets you through shit. You're like, oh, I don't care about this hard part of my life because I'm so focused on this imaginary thing that I want so badly. And I'm like, that's not all that bad as long as the adult never reciprocates it.
Yep.
And so if you're an adult out there, never reciprocate the sexual attraction of a person 22 years younger than you.
If you could have something of mine, what would it be and why? I'm thinking possessions.
Okay, because I was going to say metabolism.
Oh my God. Jesus Christ, Olivia.
Gosh, if I could have one of your possessions.
That's how I was thinking it.
Because I would also say your ability to be neat.
I'm not even that neat, though.
But I'm really fucking messy.
I want to know possessions.
I want
to know if you could steal one of my things.
I would probably steal your wardrobe. I like a lot of your clothes.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Really?
I
feel like we would dress different.
We do dress very different. I would steal them. Okay. I would put them on, and I would go, this doesn't look as good as on me. I have a different style. This looks better on Syd's style, but I would have still stolen them in the first place.
I don't think they wouldn't look good on you. I think that you just prefer a different type of clothing.
Yeah. But
like I've heard you say things before where you're like, I can't dress androgynous, or like I can't wear things that are baggy, or I can't do.
Yeah.
And I feel like I wear things that are baggy a lot.
Yes.
Says me, a person who's wearing literally a skin tight dress right now.
Yeah.
But I usually wear things that are baggier because it's just more comfortable to me.
Exactly.
But I don't think you can't do that. I think that you just...
I just prefer not to.
I think that there's something in your brain telling you you can't, but I don't think you can.
It's like when you're... It's like if you're a person who has like I don't know, big tits, and you...
Titty goblin.
If you're a titty goblin out there, there's a difference between a person with a slightly smaller frame wearing an oversized t-shirt and you wearing an oversized t-shirt.
Right.
It just looks different. And I think there's a lot of like titty goblins, like Billie Eilish, who's now like, she has a full figure, but is wearing, fucking Billie Eilish always hates when people talk about her body and what she wears. I know, so I'm absolutely sorry for that. But just using it as an example of like,
she has a great body. I know she doesn't want us to talk about it. No, we don't want to. We're
not talking about it. But still, like, she wears baggy clothes and like, I look at that and go like, oh, that's actually really cool.
Yeah.
So I mean, the world is ever expanding, guys.
Yeah, I think whether you be a titty goblin or a no titty goblin, perhaps you're an ass goblin.
Yeah, if perhaps you're an ass goblin.
Whatever kind of goblin you are, I think you can wear kind of whatever sort of goblin coverings you want.
If whatever goblin covering you choose makes you happy, that's the end of it.
If you want no coverings,
coverings. There's nudist communities.
You can be a nude ass goblin.
You can go and watch Buying Naked, which is a reality show on Discovery Plus.
Wait. Buying
Naked. It is about a real estate agent whose name is like, it's not this, but it's something like Sharon Goodblood. It's like a horrifying name.
This, of course, is a Discovery Plus show.
And she is a nudist community realtor.
What the fuck? Where are they coming up with this shit?
I don't know, but I'll just eat all of it. I love it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and all the nudists love her, and the nudists call non-nudist people textiles. So there are both textiles.
I'm offended and I don't know why.
Yeah, there are textiles like us and nudists in this community, and the woman sells houses to everyone. And in the first episode, which is the only episode I've seen, but it's still my favorite show ever, she does a mixer. And guess what?
There's a lot of naked people.
It goes badly.
Oh, I would guess that.
Yeah, because all the nudists show up naked and all the textiles show up clothed, and
that would present some problems.
And the nudists are always like, God, why do you have to look at my nakedness? And it's like,
because you're naked.
It's because that's not what they're
used to.
And then the textiles are like, God, I can only focus on the fact that you're naked. And so it's not and it's like a mixer. It's like a business meeting. I
don't know. I would say
if you don't have Discovery Plus, you're doing your life wrong, guys.
Yeah, I would say a business mixer is a hard thing to go to naked.
Oh yeah, and half the crowd is naked, and then they divide into their two separate groups, and the people putting it on are like, God damn it, everyone divided into their two groups. It's like, I could have told you that.
That is wild.
Be cool if they didn't, but I could have told you that they were going to.
Yeah. Oh God, maybe I should be a nudist. I think the word textile made me go, ooh, I don't want to be that.
The problem is the nudist colony, because we've been to nude beaches.
Sure.
We've been to nude beaches. We've never seen a single attractive person on a nude beach. Except
we saw one.
There were two. That guy who was playing soccer and then kind of became our friend for a second.
Yeah,
and then introduced us to the mayor. And the mayor was kind of attractive.
I don't remember the mayor at all.
The mayor was clothed.
But the mayor was clothed.
We went to a nude beach. We met the mayor of the nude beach.
Well, sorry. He claimed to be the mayor of the nude beach. Is there a mayor of the nude beach?
I don't know. Other people call him Mr. Mayor, and he is clothed. Fun fact, nudists prefer nudist community over nudist colony.
Good to know.
Colony is for ants, they say.
Huh. I would have never thought of that.
Here's a question, Syd.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think having children would affect our relationship?
Oh my God. Well, let's look at this as if we were to have children together.
Yeah.
Okay, so just thinking about, first of all, in a world where we can genetically have children together.
Right.
Those kids would be so fucking weird.
They'd be weird.
They'd be fucking nightmarishly weird.
Yeah. They'd have half my genetics, half your genetics.
And I have a feeling they'd get some weird shit.
Yeah.
I feel like they would get all the weirdest parts of us. And then just be these weird Frankenstein Syd Olivias.
Definitely.
They'd have terrible names.
Yeah.
Because we would just laugh and
their
think
names
it's
would
funny.
Be like Croucho.
Yeah, we would think it'd be funny to name them like Chungle and Kruckusk.
Yeah.
And then they'd be like, that's not funny, Mom.
Yeah, and then we'd get Child Protective Services called on us for the names alone.
I think if we had kids, we would become far more invested in children's television than they would.
Yes.
That's like a realistic thing.
Yes.
Olivia and I have always had a really soft spot for cursed children's shows.
Yeah, just like absolutely nightmare shows like Caillou.
Yeah, anytime I see like something that's like a kid's show that's like, hi, how are you, kids? I'm like, this is
cursed.
already so scary.
Yeah.
And if you watch it more and get more in depth, you're going to find some weird shit.
We watched an episode of Barney together recently.
We did.
And it was the funniest, best thing ever because it was literally just him and like a bunch of fucking kids.
Which, first of all, this adult dinosaur shouldn't be hanging out with kids.
Oh, in no fucking world.
What the fuck?
In no fucking world.
Who left their kids alone with a prehistoric
so many
adult?
kids.
It's a prehistoric adult. Don't leave your kids with him.
And so what they did was they had a bunch of numbers and they organized all the numbers on the floor. And
First,
Barney,
my favorite activity.
my favorite thing to do. Barney reacted every time they said a number, but his reactions
were a little too sexual.
were so fucking weird. Like
Yep.
they would be like 1 and he'd go like, oh ho ho.
Yeah, this is Barney sex sounds as well.
And they'd be like 2 and he'd be like, oh.
3. Oh yeah, 3. Oh yeah, put down 3. Yeah.
And we were like, and this is the most cursed thing we've ever seen.
And a kid would probably watch that and go, yeah, that's what you do about numbers.
Yeah, like, you go like, hoo hoo hoo, numbers.
You get excited. But we
but
were
he's
watching
not
it.
going hoo hoo hoo. He's going,
no.
ho ho ho.
Yeah. No, we were watching it and being like, holy shit, when the number 6 is put down, Barney goes like, fuck yeah, 6.
He's like, oh yeah, 6.
Give me some 6. So he's super attracted to numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we would just literally forget we had a kid because we'd be spending our whole time watching kids' TV.
Our kids would get in trouble in school for saying things that they weren't supposed to say yet.
Oh my
like,
God.
They would get in trouble for being like, Barney fucks numbers. You know? Like, be like, my moms say Barney fucks numbers. And then they would get calls like, hi, your kid Cruckus just told all of the kids in the class that Barney fucks numbers and everyone in kindergarten is crying right now. Like, that is what would happen.
I can literally imagine if our kid had to deal with like a bully or something. Like, oh my God, we'd give the worst fucking advice.
Oh my God.
We'd be like, just tell that kid he's a little bitch.
Yeah.
Tell the kid he's a little bitch and he needs to go fucking cry about it or something.
Just tell him like, oh my God, if I was you, I would absolutely hate myself as well.
That kid would be so hated.
It would be a cursed child.
Oh my God. The Cursed Child
be,
by J.K. Rowling.
It would be the Cursed Child by transphobe J.K. Rowling.
Yeah, J.K. Why'd you do that?
Why'd you do it?
Like, J.K., like, just if I can speak to J.K. Rowling for
if
just
J.K.
a second.
Rowling's listening.
And listen, I know you're not, but what if you were?
You're not listening.
But like, J.K., what you doing, girl?
You're so good at things like writing a story about wizards.
Then why do you
have to do this?
To have bad opinions.
That's like what I think about. It's like with Dave Chappelle. It's like, you're
Dave, you're
fucking
so smart.
Funny.
You're
so
so
smart
funny.
and
You're so smart.
Why are we
doing this?
Why instead of being funny are we doing this?
Yeah, it's like guys,
do the thing you're good at.
We know you can do better, guys.
We know. We've seen you do better.
Yeah,
God
much
damn
better.
it. Yeah.
Ugh, God.
God damn it.
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
Anyway. Well, and that's why we can't reproduce. Okay, here's a question. Mm-hmm. And now this one actually is a very hard one.
Yeah.
How would you describe my relationship to technology and how does that affect us?
Ooh. I actually probably have an answer for this.
Great.
Okay. I would say it's a two-prong thing.
Prong.
The first prong is that sometimes technology decides to hate specifically you.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, Syd had a computer while we were both working together, and we both had, like, the same... we had to rebuy computers because Syd's computer would, like, open a window and type in, like, elderly therapy.
Okay,
like, and against her will.
Here, let me explain this to you.
Yeah.
My Safari, my search engine, sorry, not my search engine. This is how good I am with technology.
Yeah.
My internet had a virus where every time I would open it, it would go to Bing, a search engine I do not use.
Yeah.
And it would have researched something I've never even thought of in my life. So it would have researched, like, tree sex with foreplay? And I'm like, what? And then I would just have all of it on my computer being like, yeah, here are all the lists of tree sex with foreplay.
And we would be in a meeting, and then it would exit the meeting and open a window in Bing.
I'd be at, like, a Zoom call.
For work.
And then it'd be like, oh, Sydney exited the Zoom call because her computer decided instead it was important to look up houses in Tucson.
Yeah, houses, just, like, random real estate shit.
Yeah, Bing would just be like, yeah, let's look up like how many lights can you turn off in hell?
Yeah.
What? It's
and
like that's not even a sentence.
And at the same time, was it your F or P key that just did not work?
I don't remember, but one of my keys decided it didn't work.
You'd have to press it like 19 times for it to work, and that was infuriating.
So there was a time when I couldn't write emails with the letter F.
Yeah, so that's infuriating, and that's one prong.
Yeah.
And that's just you being cursed. That's not you having anything.
Well, it's a genetic curse.
Okay.
My mom has a problem that she says. Now, my mom also says she can predict earthquakes. So just keep that in your head.
Take everything with a grain of salt.
While we hear this next thing. But I will say, she did predict the 94 earthquake.
Listen, if you're going to predict an earthquake,
that's
the one to predict.
So even though my mom thinks she's psychic, it's still unproven. We don't know yet.
It's not proven.
It's not proven. It's either true or not true, but we don't know.
Yeah.
But my mom also says, again, that her blood makes computers not work. She says there's something in her blood. And apparently this is a real problem, according to Gail.
Okay.
Apparently.
Shout out.
There's a community of people on the internet who are like, yes, this happens to me too. I have to wear a bracelet that has something in it.
Like ions or something?
Yeah, that has something in it that like makes your blood not as evil to technology.
So she has evil blood.
But I will say it's true. Like I've seen my mom walk into a room and all the computers turn off. Like my mom does.
Your mom has haunted blood.
My mom has haunted blood when it comes to
Shout
technology.
out to Gail's haunted blood.
Now, again, you can believe it or not believe it, but I will say...
Ripley's believe it or not believe it.
I've seen weird shit happen with my mom and computers.
So maybe you guys have like a blood curse, like Pirates of the Caribbean type of thing.
I mean, hopefully I get to meet all of Keira Knightley and go on a big adventure.
Yeah, and I would say the other prong is that, which I think is actually only a good thing, is that you are not afraid to take breaks from social media when you need to.
Yes.
Which social media falls into the category of technology.
Sure.
I think that you will be like, oh, not doing Instagram for like a couple months because absolutely not. And I think that is a very, I think that's a very smart thing to do. And I would recommend that any single human being listening to this in the entire world does that whenever they're feeling like, I hate this.
Does make it harder for memes.
Yeah, it makes it hard. Here's how it affects our relationship. Sometimes I can't direct message you things on Instagram. Right.
Yeah, and I have been like next to someone else who was looking at a meme, and I went, hey, can you actually direct message that to my friend Olivia?
Yeah.
I've done that before, and so I know Olivia.
I got one of those in the last week.
Yeah, so I know that Olivia will get random direct messages from other people who she probably wouldn't normally get direct messages from, being like, this is from Sydney who was looking over my shoulder.
Yeah. Where do you see us in 10 years?
How old will we be dead?
We'll be dead, but
36,
36
37?
and 37.
Okay, so maybe not dead.
Hopefully not dead, but I'm not going to say definitely not dead.
36, 37. Okay, I'm going to say in 10 years from now, I see us with a lot more farm animals.
That's the best answer. I didn't even think of that, and that's the best answer you could have given.
I just see us culminating more farm animals.
Yeah.
Goats, chickens.
Yeah.
I see it.
I see it.
I see it and I hope it.
I would love chickens again.
God, I want goats.
I would love a llama. I would lose my shit for an alpaca or a llama.
Yeah. Sheep.
Gotta love sheep. Farm animals are probably my favorite category of animals.
Me too, I think.
It's I don't know, it's weird, but I just grew up loving like petting zoos and farm animals and shit. Gotta love farm animals.
Yeah, I think we've talked about it before. And
owning a joint property.
Yes. Yeah. We've talked about owning a joint farm.
Yeah.
And what we've said is we would take in animals. This is a real thing we've literally discussed doing.
A real thing.
Where we're like, if we get to a point where we can afford this, we should open a joint farm.
Yeah.
The people who work the farm are people who are hired who like couldn't get other jobs.
Exactly.
And are like really good with animals, but are having a lot of difficulty getting jobs.
Yeah.
Like even our friends who like have had a hard time in the past.
For example, anyone struggling with being unhoused, or our friends who can't get jobs,
or
anyone in the whole wide world because there is no job market anymore.
Just anyone who's like, hey, I'm having the worst time ever, but I would love to hang out with a horse.
I'd love to hang out with animals and be paid a fair wage.
Yeah, we would hire them to come hang out and work on the farm, and then all of the animals in the farm would be animals that people couldn't afford to keep. This developed because I had this rabbit named Barbara Streisand. Shout out.
Long live Barbara Streisand the rabbit.
I had a male rabbit named Barbara Streisand. I loved him dearly.
He was fucking incredible.
He was the love of my life, truly. This rabbit, I'll put in pictures. Like, this rabbit was just everything to me.
Yeah.
And I spent so much money to keep him alive.
Because he was very inbred, which wasn't anyone's fault.
Yeah, no, he just had health problem after health problem after health problem. If you have a dwarf rabbit, you know that most of them, actually all of them really, are inbred, because dwarf rabbits are like inbred species.
Right.
And so they just had a lot of health problems. His like nose didn't work. Nothing worked.
No.
And so I spent...
You were handed this rabbit.
I was. But
you didn't seek out an inbred rabbit.
Right.
Like, and you were handed a rabbit, you were like, this is the love of my life.
Yeah. And
it's very expensive.
He was the best.
He's the best.
Ended up being like the thing I've spent the most money on in my entire life, keeping this rabbit alive.
Yeah.
And I was, at the time...
It's the biggest cost, I think, ever.
Yeah. At the time, this was my job at the time. I was working at a restaurant, and I was dog walking, and I was a food delivery driver. All at the same time while writing a Snapchat show with Olivia because it didn't pay enough by itself.
No, nothing
and
pays
so
enough
I
by
was
itself.
doing 4 jobs and most of them were going toward keeping this rabbit alive.
Yeah.
And eventually there was this horrific, like,
just the most tragic, traumatic, fucking fuck you kind of situation.
They broke his legs during a normal X-ray procedure, and
At the vet.
And he was never going to be able to walk again. We had to put him down, and it was just the absolute, like, worst.
Just like the worst fucking possible.
It was just
thing
awful.
Ever.
But like when I had him, and people would always be like, you should get rid of him. You should give him away. Like, you can't keep spending this much money.
Yeah.
Like, and I understand where those people were coming from, because I was spending all of my money that I did not really have.
Well, no, it's like, on one hand, it's like, you know, there's certain people who, when an animal is too expensive vet bill wise, they're like, can't deal with this. And there's some people who it's like, sorry, that's my fucking kid. I can't do anything about it. Like, I'd rather starve.
Yeah.
And there's gotta be so many people who have animals that they didn't know were going to be expensive, that ended up being expensive, and they don't have 4 jobs.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is I was like, if I am ever in a position where I can take in people's animals, where they're like, I just can't afford this animal anymore, but I want them to have like the best possible life on a farm, perhaps.
Yeah.
Then that's what we would do, is we would like take in the animals and be like, you're gonna have the best fucking life. Your owners can visit you whenever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
You're gonna have just the best fucking time, and we will cover all your vet bills and we'll figure it out.
Yeah, so that's what will happen if Syd and I ever get really fucking rich.
So hopefully in 10 years we'll like win the
golden,
chocolate factory.
We'll win the golden chocolate at the bottom of the chocolate bin.
And if Willy Wonka gives us his chocolate factory,
we'll
and
sell the chocolate factory.
Sell the chocolate factory and buy a farm.
To buy a farm. Yeah.
So hopefully that happens in 10 years.
Yeah. All right, I like that.
Yeah. Shout out to Babs. God, I miss him.
God, love Barbra Streisand.
I really love that rabbit
Just
so much.
truly an incredible animal.
Oh God, I love him.
A full-fledged human being.
How do I love? This is my question. How do I love?
You love with
what's my love language?
Your love language is your love language is making food for people.
I do make a lot of food for
Your
people.
love language is having food made for you, making food for people, or like little, like acts of service. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
But like, not, I don't know, that sounds weird, like acts of service. But like you appreciate when someone does something that is like, oh, I took out the trash for you. Or like, and I will definitely see you express love in that way of like, oh, I made you food, or like, and I'm like, hell yeah.
I do think a lot of my love language is related to food.
And then, here's a good question that I've just got to ask. How would you react if you caught me masturbating? That's what this card says.
It's funny. I don't want to.
You know what? That is something we have in common.
I don't want to.
No.
I think it would be uncomfortable. It'd be weird.
It would probably be weird.
But you and I have had this discussion a lot.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. So first off, if you're our dads, you got to stop watching
this.
But second, this is a really good point.
Yeah. Okay. If you're my dad, stop watching. Stop. We've talked about this 1,000 times. We would rather,
by far,
walk in on someone
we knew, an acquaintance, a friend,
having like crazy, kinky, loud sex, instead of walking in on someone we know making sweet, deep, passionate love.
By 1,000,000,000,000,000%.
If you think about it.
Oh boy.
Walking in on somebody just being like loud and being like, fuck me, daddy, and being crazy.
Being like, yeah, fuck my anus.
Yeah.
Peg me in my mouth. Like anything fucking weird.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, that's your thing.
I would be like, oh, wow, and walk out. If I were to walk in on somebody being like, put a baby in me, Harold.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh.
Harold, your tears are your beautiful lube. Like,
I'd be like,
trying to make a baby.
Yeah.
That creeps me out so much more.
I don't want to walk in on that. And I think because of that, my guess is if I would be jacking off. If you're masturbating, I don't think there is a sensual part of that.
There's not like an emotional masturbation. And if there is, what?
I can't imagine somebody masturbating and being like, I love you so much, myself.
Or like watching a video or having a memory and being like, I love it so much.
I respect myself and I think I have good self-worth.
Yeah, no, like, it's usually like, shit on me.
Yeah, it's usually just watching some weird like porn thing of somebody being like, I'm gonna put a pig nose on and fuck 7 people in a row. And it's like, all right.
Enter the woman who comes in, pees on everyone, and leaves.
Oh my God. So it's like, if you're gonna watch like weird.
And listen, over everything, I would prefer to never walk in on anyone I know having sex, period.
Same.
But if I had to walk in
unless it was like a previously discuused plan, in which case we were all like, this is what we're all doing tonight.
Yeah, if we're like, okay, we want to like walk in on each other having sex and that's the night. First we go to Chili's and then we go home and walk in on each other having sex.
If it's not like a contractually obligated thing that we've all decided
like
on.
Like a big handshake.
Then
if it's a pure accident with lots of shame and embarrassment.
I would prefer to never ever walk in on anyone accidentally. But
if I had
to walk in on somebody either masturbating or like making sweet love to their partner, I'd pick masturbating.
Yeah, I'd pick like walking in on ropes and chains over walking in on like poems and tears.
Yeah,
also in a sexual situation.
So interesting.
I brought up tears twice. I don't know if people do that.
I'm trying to think if making sweet passionate love involves tears.
It doesn't, but I feel like the essence of what we're trying to communicate
have you ever
about
cried during sex?
I have not. Have you? Oh, I mean, no, I have not. End of sentence.
I
mean, I have not. End of episode. It happens. It's never happened to me, but it definitely happens.
I really hope nobody's watching this that I knows. I've cried.
That I knows? I hope no one's watching this that I knows.
I think I'm like high on something. Like, I think I accidentally snorted, like, a cleaning product.
Yeah. Listen, if you cry during sex, if you cry during sex on purpose, if you sob and weep during sex and you love it or you hate it, you do you.
It's not a normal occurrence for me.
No, it's just not your day-to-day.
In case you were, like, wondering, it's not a normal occurrence.
Should we ask another question and
wrap
it up?
Yeah, let's ask one more. Did you ask one or did I ask one?
I asked you if you would love to walk in on me jacking off.
Oh, this is a good one to end on.
Okay, perfect.
Because I feel like this could be sweet. Mm-hmm. Or maybe it won't be.
I'm excited either way.
If for some reason I lost my memory, what's the first thing you'd tell me about us?
Oh my God. Okay, this is a very sweet answer and it doesn't mean it's not a memory.
Okay.
But the first thing I would say is we're going to be okay. Because that's the biggest thing I feel is like, oh, you and I together? Okay, we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
I would probably tell you to buckle up. And I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. If in a world I lose my memory and I don't know what's going on and I wake up to a girl saying, we're going to be okay, buckle up.
And I'm sorry.
I would be like, this is shocking.
Would be absolutely horrified.
I'd be like, but wait, are we teachers? Like, what do we do?
Yeah. I would probably be like, God. I mean, I would probably test your memory by asking like, you know, whose chest does Scrappy Doo burst out of?
Mr. Bean.
What type of people does young Sheldon have sex with?
The dead.
Like things like that. And if you couldn't answer, I'd probably just make a PowerPoint.
Right.
And
that's a good idea.
There. I would start there.
I love a good PowerPoint.
I love a good PowerPoint.
Yeah. What do you think the thesis statement of the PowerPoint would be?
Buckle up, I'm so sorry.
God damn it. That is such a sad answer to this.
To me, it's just like, I don't know, there's something like, well, the world's on fire and we're all going to be okay. Young Sheldon fucks dead people. it's all gonna be okay.
You would pepper in, like, these are things we've joked about in the past and will come up again. Yeah. And so I need you to know these really quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's just facts of life that we know.
Yeah.
Like, Peppa Pig is 15 feet tall. No, sorry, her dad is, but she's like 9 feet tall.
Yeah, she's like really tall.
That, Caillou's just a kid who's 4. I would teach you the Caillou theme song. I would show you the remix of the Caillou theme song.
Yeah.
I would probably give you a crash course in what's important in life, aka like those things. And then I would be like, by the way, we are struggling comedians. I'm so sorry. And you have a cute dog. You have a nice place. So these are all good.
Right.
I'd take you to get Mexican food.
Nice.
I'd be like, this is something you love.
Great.
Yeah. These are all the things I'd do.
That's great. I think the PowerPoint idea is good. I think if you lost your memory, I think I would use a PowerPoint as well.
I think we have to make a pact now that if either of us ever gets in a memory losing event.
Yeah, if we have to 50 first dates each other.
Exactly. That the easiest and best and most direct way and the most correct way.
Of course.
Is to do it through a series of PowerPoints.
Yeah, I think that's the only answer.
We just did another season of this big podcast.
Well, this has been lovely.
Yeah.
If you guys want more, we have other episodes of this podcast.
You can watch them all.
You can listen to them on any streaming service.
Yeah, if you guys want us to bring it back for more, let us know. Comment. Tell us things you want us to talk shit about.
And if you don't want us to bring it back,
let us know. Let us know and call us on our home phones and scream, never do anything again.
We don't have home phones, so that's a trick.
It is. It's a trap.
But it's been absolutely lovely to hang out with you guys. And we are grateful to be here.
Yeah.
So, I guess we won't see you next Tuesday.
No.
But maybe we'll see you in the future.
Yeah.
Or somewhere else.
Yeah.
And for this whole season, I've been Syd.
I've been Olivia the whole time.
And we will see you sometime in the distant future.
Some Tuesday in the future. Follow us at Syd and Olivia on everything.
Thank you.
Thank you, and we will
see you in the future.